Hi, I'm Elaine Christian, and I'm a Sustainability Program Coordinator with the City of West Palm Beach Office of Sustainability. Thank you for joining me today for this virtual presentation on Less Meat, Less Heat. Let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we'll go ahead and get started. So what we eat has major implications for climate change. The destruction of rainforests to create land for agriculture, along with the growing demand for meat, are major contributors to the increasing greenhouse gases, which are taking a significant toll on climate and global food security. To top it off, we waste about 1/3 of the food that is produced. But more people are taking a closer look at what they're eating and the impacts of their diets on their health and on the environment. As we go through this presentation, we're going to look at reducing our meat consumption and the impacts on our planet. Most of my presentation is derived from the New York Times bestseller Drawdown, the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming by Paul Hawken. We'll talk about someone else very important first in this presentation. Michael Pollan is an American author who writes about the places where nature and culture intersect. So on our plates, in our farms and gardens, and in the built environment. His work includes In Defense of Food, An Eater's Manifesto, The Omnivore's Dilemma, Food Rules, An Eater's Manual, and he has simplified the conundrum of eating by stating, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. And mostly plants is the key here. Shifting to a diet rich in plants is a demand-side solution to global warming that runs counter to the meat-centric, highly processed, often excessive Western diet broadly on the rise today. Project Drawdown has ranked plant-rich diets as number 4 in a list of top 100 climate actions. This means that just by a simple diet change, we can have a huge impact on the amount of greenhouse gases being emitted. As we go on through this presentation, let's keep this in mind as we see just how easy it is to make this simple change. The meat-loving Western diet comes with a very steep climate price tag. And as we go on, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this. It is estimated that raising livestock accounts for nearly 15% of global greenhouse gases emitted each year. And the most comprehensive assessments of direct and indirect emissions say more than 50%. The production of meat and dairy contributes many more emissions than growing their sprouted counterparts. Cows are some of the most prolific offenders, generating the potent greenhouse gas methane as they digest their food. In addition, agricultural land use and associated energy consumption to grow the livestock feed produces carbon dioxide emissions, while manure and fertilizers emit nitrous oxide. If cattle were their own nation, they would be the world's 3rd largest greenhouse gas emitter. Overconsumption of animal protein also comes with a steep cost to human health. Around the world, protein eaten daily goes well beyond dietary requirements. On average, adults require 50 grams of protein each day, but in 2009, it was shown that the average per capita consumption was 68 grams per day. That's 36% higher than necessary. In the US and Canada alone, the average adult consumes 90 grams per day. And studies have shown that eating too much animal protein can lead to certain cancers, strokes, and even heart disease. So it's important to take note of how much protein we are consuming each and every day. With billions of people dining multiple times a day, imagine how many opportunities exist to turn the tables. It is possible to eat well in terms of both nutrition and pleasure, while eating lower on the food chain, thereby lowering emissions. According to the World Health Organization, only 10 to 15% of one's daily calories need to come from protein, and a diet primarily of plants can easily meet that threshold. I think we can all agree that it's time to turn the tables, and it's time to do it together. I encourage you to look to sources such as choosemyplate.gov to discover just how much of each food group we should be eating. Choosemyplate.gov can help you plan out meals, provide nutritious recipes, and offer advice to help you alter your protein routine. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations shows us just how much emissions are produced by each species. You can see cattle on the left here with the big cloud above them. So they are, as we mentioned, the most prolific offenders and emit the most greenhouse gases from the production to feeding them to packaging, everything. And this graph here shows us the livestock emissions by region. So you can kind of compare region by region what exactly is being emitted. This graphic here is from the National Park Service, and I just want to kind of compare what it looks like when we have normal CO2 emissions, so normal carbon dioxide emissions, and then also when we have just high levels of carbon dioxide emissions and greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. So the greenhouse effect is there, it's present. The sun is radiating heat onto the surface of the earth, and then it is bounced back up into space, or a lot of it is bounced back and escapes into space. Unfortunately, though, when we have a lot of greenhouse gases, a lot of CO2 in our atmosphere, it acts as it's a heated blanket, and it keeps that solar radiation in. So it just gets hotter and hotter and really tampers with our climates and global warming as well. In order for individuals to give up meat in favor of options lower on the food chain, those options, of course, should be available, visible, and tempting. Companies such as Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods are proving that it is possible to swap out proteins in painless or pleasurable ways. And plant-based alternatives are now making their way into grocery store meat cases, which will hopefully prompt changes to our habitual behaviors around food. And even football star Tom Brady and boxer Mike Tyson eat plant-based diets. Plant-based diets are not meant for a certain type of person or one over the other. Plant-based diets are made for everyone. Chefs around the world are starting to make the case for eating widely and with pleasure without meat. You'll notice more and more as you go out to eat at restaurants. You may notice more vegetarian meals, vegan meals. They are out there and they are becoming more and more popular. Initiatives such as Meatless Mondays and VB6, which is vegan before 6 p.m., are helping to shift biases around reduced meat consumption. Debunking protein myths and amplifying the health benefits of plant-rich diets can also encourage individuals to change their eating patterns. Instead of being the exception, vegetarian options should become the norm, especially at public institutions such as schools and hospitals. And when I look at a dish such as this, it speaks to me. I can almost smell it. It looks delicious. And maybe this is not your, maybe it doesn't speak to you, but there are so many dishes out there that you can make yourself. They're super easy to make. They are delicious, and they just look lovely. One of the most common myths that I hear is that vegetarian meals are boring. Well, vegetarian and vegan meals certainly do not mean boring food. It's important to recognize all of the spices that are available out there, all of the different vegetables that are available out there. And I encourage you to visit our website, wpb.org/lessmeat, to request a free spice packet from the Office of Sustainability. We have a special World Tour rub that we are giving out for free. We just need a request form from you. And however they are achieved, plant-rich diets are a win-win for society. Eating with a lighter footprint reduces emissions and tends to be healthier, leading to lower rates of chronic disease. And needless to say that changing your diet is so impactful. If 50% of the world's population restricts their diet to a healthy 2,500 calories per day and reduces meat consumption overall, it is estimated that at least 26.7 gigatons of emissions could be avoided from dietary change alone. And if avoided deforestation from land use change is included in this, an additional 39.3 gigatons of emissions could be avoided as well. So overall, combined, this makes healthy plant-rich diets one of the most impactful solutions at a total of 66 gigatons reduced. Few climate solutions of this magnitude lie in the hands of individuals or are as close as the dinner plate. Remember, plant-rich diets are ranked as number 4 among the top 100 climate actions to reverse global warming. And you can even grow your own food on a balcony. A vegetable handpicked from your own garden tastes better than anything you can buy in a store. And here in Florida, home gardeners can grow various vegetables all year long. Home gardens are convenient and may encourage you and your family to eat more fresh vegetables. The choices are truly endless, with vegetables of all sizes, colors, and shapes. The University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences offers a great vegetable gardening guide whether you are in North, Central, or South Florida. I encourage you to visit our webpage as well, wpb.org/lessmeat, for more information and delicious recipes to try. And please reach out with any questions that you may have from today's presentation, or just if you have any questions in general. We are so happy to help. Our email address is sustainability@wpb.org. Our main webpage is wpb.org/green. And we also are on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as WPB Green. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have learned something new. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.